And from New York, now back in Los Angeles, here in the studio, I'm joined by two gentlemen, Mr. Riggs Eckelberry, he's the CEO of Origin Oil, and Dr. Vikram Parthakani, he is the Chief Technical Officer of the company. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Don.
Riggs, exciting times for you guys right now. We haven't seen you in a couple of weeks, but you issued some press here recently that is like milestone-type press releases for the company.
Well, Don, don't let 2 weeks go by around here. There's a lot going on. A couple weeks ago, in fact, we announced a major commercialization breakthrough in the extraction of oil from algae, which is a big problem in our space. Typically, it costs 10 times as much energy to pull the oil out of the algae as it does out of regular seeds. Obviously, that's a big choke point, and it has to be resolved. We got our breakthrough, and we decided that, people are making algae right now. Let's help them extract it while we continue to build our end-to-end system.
So basically what you've done is we had this major problem, you've solved the problem, and now you've basically applied for patent protection. Is that it in a nutshell? That's
exactly right. And in addition, the next week's news was that last Thursday I met with my colleagues at the National Algae Association in Houston and discussed some of the numbers we could achieve with this new process. And in some scenarios we're at 1/10 of the energy requirement, which brings it back in line with what you get out of seeds. And we also announced that we had a new collaboration with a fantastic company called Decma Valestra, and they are multinational. They have presence in over 22 countries. They actually have footprint in 140 countries.
Wow.
And they are in the oil seed extraction business. They've built over 90 biodiesel refineries, and now they see algae oil extraction as the next frontier, but the cost is too high. So they're working very aggressively with us to see how we can help them make a more efficient, energy efficient and capital efficient system for the entire industry.
Well, it's so amazing to have watched the growth of your companies. You're a relatively young company, but you really have kind of emerged as the 800-pound gorilla in the algae oil space. Now, Dr. Vikram, you provided with us a few months ago a very fascinating insight into the scientific side of this. But we haven't seen you in a while. What have you been up to?
Well, I've been involved with trying to develop this oil extraction process, because that's the exciting thing in the company right now. I come from a wastewater industry background, I told you earlier. I wish we could have biomass flocculating and settling the way algae biomass does in this process. The way it happens is we apply a combination of electromagnetic forces, quantum fracturing, which is a patented technology by Origin Oil, and pH modification, so that once you put the algae biomass as is, which comes from the algae reactor, through the process and let it settle, the biomass settles to the bottom, the oil floats to the top, and the water is in the middle layer. So it works extremely well. It's very energy efficient. It's much less energy intensive than the current algae oil extraction process.
Interesting.
Currently what they do is they will have to dewater the entire algae biomass. You see, algae grows in very low concentrations in water. So it's mostly water.
Right.
So you have to get rid of all that water before you can do the mechanical or chemical extraction of oil from it. That's the current method, which is very energy intensive.
Now, of course, and that's really the whole thing, isn't it, Riggs? I mean, if we're going to be making energy from algae, we've got to make sure that we can produce that using as little energy to get that done as possible, correct?
The energy cost is where it's at, and also the capital cost. People have got to have, they can't spend $20 million just to build an extraction system.
Right.
That's ridiculous.
Okay. Once again, Origin Oil, stock symbols OOIL, and as I've said this before, every time you guys come on the program, the story just seems to get better and better. It's just been so fascinating to watch your company's development. Thanks for joining us once again.
Thanks for your help, Don.
Thanks, Don.